2, 3, funky.
What's up, guys? How we doing? Welcome back to Fun with Dom, where everyone is welcome. I'm your host Dom, broadcasting from London as always. Today's guest is my friend Freyja, and I hope that you will enjoy this new episode. Freyja, can you just explain my listener who you are and from where are you from and a bit of yourself?
Sure. My name is Freyja. I live in London at the moment, just outside London in East Croydon. I am a live audio engineer. I've spent the most of my career being a PA system tech, but recently crossed over to start doing monitor engineering.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have a female finally on the podcast. I've been trying to have someone, but it's so difficult because a lot of them maybe are shy. I don't know. So that's, if anyone is listening now that is working in the business and is a female, please send me a message. I would be more than happy to have you on my podcast. So
Absolutely.
thank you for doing this, Freyja.
No worries.
I'm really happy.
Thanks for having me.
How did you start working this business?
I actually started from when I left university. I graduated in 2012, and the uni that I was at, Bucks in 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐿, they were looking at having students to be volunteers for the Olympics, but
Nice.
on the media side of things. So we got some interviews through one of our tutors, and a bunch of us who were on the course, we were doing like what did we do? It was called Audio and Music Production, was the title of the course, and a bunch of us went out to Canary Wharf and got interviewed by my lovely friend Colin Pink.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So he was like the first super pro audio dude I met, and he was awesome and gave me a wicked project. So I was basically the audio assistant for the O2 for the gymnastics and trampolining, and then went on to do some Paralympic stuff. And because the guys who were working in those venues were Brit Row people, I kind of emailed them afterwards and was like, oh yeah, I did some volunteer work with them, and they were really cool, and I want to get into this industry. And and then that was it.
Carlin is so lovely. So everyone in Brit Row is nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So now I need to ask you how difficult it's been for you as a female to try to get in this business.
Initially, the hardest part was trying to actually get in somewhere. So my lucky break was doing the Olympics and then having the connection with Brit Row, and then I went into their warehouse sort of like November 2012. And I didn't leave for years. They were amazing to me, and I've had loads of fabulous opportunities. I worked my way up in the warehouse from being like a casual worker, literally painting boxes, fixing cables, that kind of thing, dewrapping stuff. Worked my way up to their sort of departments, and then establishing myself as a tech and going forward to do gigs. But within that it was almost like a safety net, because we didn't really have anything. There wasn't really that much sexism or anything like that at all. You were just seen as a person who can do your job, which was great, because there weren't any, you can't do this because blah, blah, blah. It was all just right. Yeah, cool. You can totally do this job. That's cool. You get on with it. You're doing great. It kind of wasn't until I stepped out of the warehouse, I think, that I kind of noticed that, okay, this might be a little bit more difficult than I had previously anticipated. Kind of starting touring was a bit of a baptism of fire, I think. Nothing really prepares you to go out on the road for your first time. But it was little things that kind of got me. Like, I was realizing that I'm not as strong as some of my male counterparts, which can kind of suck sometimes. And I wanted to really prove myself. So with that in mind, I took up weight training. And I ended up being quite a lot stronger than I was working with. But, for the most part, the people that I met, the good people who are still my friends now and who have helped me and who've always been there, have never given it a second thought. So
no, that's good. You know what, for myself, I've been struggled to try to find woman in the business, because before, I think that now is becoming more common, but before there was these things that this job was just for men.
Yeah.
But I found myself have more challenger with women that work in this business. I think that there is a lot of women that are more prepared than a lot of men, especially sound engineer. And something that I like is because I like to be challenger. So there is more competition
Yeah.
when you are with a woman. So and about this be strong, I can tell you that I train with a girl that is stronger than me. So everything is possible, and so there is no way that you can say it's fine. But I understand that there is some things because when I see a lot crew girl that
Oh yeah.
sometimes they struggle, and I am always the first. I see a lot of people just looking and just don't do anything, and I'm always the first one to just say, look, I give you a hand, I show you how you should take these, because the most problem is always the deck. So sometimes you need to take on one side, maybe another side, to give
That's
someone
heavy.
a hand. Yeah. So there is a couple of things, but as I said, I think that the more women we see in the business, the better will be for everyone. Just because I see a lot men uh, be more selfish nowadays,
Yeah.
and this business is changing in a way that in my 15 years being, I don't like it.
Okay.
I just see too much people. I don't know. It's more like they feel like a rock star sometimes.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so this is not what this business is from my view. This
Oh
is
no.
a teamwork, is a big friends, help each other, because I do a lot of stuff as a production manager.
Yeah.
And I see a lot tech, especially on the corporate world,
Hmm.
be selfish. Because for them, when the call is finished, it's finished. They just don't care.
Right.
On the rock and roll world, it's totally different. There is no start time, end time.
Nope.
So yeah. So
24/7, baby.
yeah. So there is a pro and cons as always, but I mean, it is where it is.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that. I was actually having kind of a similar conversation with some friends the other day, about how sort of occasionally you might work with somebody who's a little bit precious about what they do, which
Yeah,
I can understand to a point, because this is a really, really competitive industry, and you want to, you want to keep your job. It's your,
yeah.
sometimes it's your job, it's your baby, it's what you started with. But and I was saying, when I started out, I would feel really embarrassed, or like I was being a problem, if I went and asked questions about stuff.
Yeah.
And the reply I got from the best people that I know was, there are no stupid questions, only stupid people.
Yeah,
Which I took as an invitation to ask any question ever. And
yeah.
to be honest, I don't have that like guard up about it anymore. I'll just ask. I don't care if it sounds stupid. Like, it literally can be, how do I turn this desk on? You know?
Yeah. No, that's perfect. So I approach a question in this way. I always say, I know maybe for you this question can be stupid, but I'm gonna ask you anyway. And people
Yeah.
always laugh. So it's just because I don't like. I mean, sometimes, especially for me, coming from another country, and when you need to explain your thoughts to someone, especially at the
Mhm.
beginning, it's been
Yeah.
quite difficult. So I always say, look, I don't know if I'm saying the right things or maybe I'm explaining the wrong way, but just like try to help me if you can.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I understand. It's completely understandable. What do you wish you knew before that you start? Like, there's something. Oh, if I knew this before that I started,
Oh.
something. Yeah.
um, I wish I knew that once I got into it and
Yep.
kind of realized how passionate I was about it, I wish I knew how much sort of normal life, in inverted commas, would be different to the life that I actually
Mm.
lead. I wish I knew how it would affect my friendships and my relationships. It doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. It
No,
doesn't
no,
mean
no,
that
no.
things have been negatively affected. Um, I find now, where I'm away a lot, my close circle of friends and family,
Mm.
they understand and they're fine with it. But there are some friends who don't get it,
Yeah.
and you were like, "Well, you've been away for like blah. Can you not just come out, and can you not just book this holiday in 3 weeks' time?" And I'm like, "No, I actually can't. I'm really sorry." So yeah, I wish I knew that I would have to kind of reconsider how I manage my time and my
Right.
relationships.
Yeah.
That's kind of the biggest thing, I think, personally.
Yes, it is indeed for everyone, and I can share something with you and with everyone because I
Yeah.
think that a lot of people would like to know. I say this in another podcast, I guess, but I lost a lot of people
Yeah.
for my job.
Yeah.
I lost good friend, I lost friends, I lost quite a lot of people, and especially for me that my family is back in Italy, my mom and my brother. It's always like difficult. I'm lucky enough that my mom understand what I do, because I start this job back in Italy and I was owner of a company, so she went through all the process with me, so she know all the speaker, all the lights, so
Yeah.
she know what I'm doing. So
Very young.
it's quite nice. But I had like a relationship 3 years ago, and finished because my girlfriend say, I don't like the way that your job works, and there is two way you change job on we go back to Italy. And my answer
Oh,
was
wow.
quite easy. I say, look, it's quite easy. The door is that side. You open the door, you get out, and
Oh,
everyone is happy.
well,
And
I was going to say that's savage, but it's not, is it? It's your
no,
job. Not at
I
all.
mean,
Like,
uh,
yeah,
yeah, for me, I always say it's my life, and I will never
exactly.
change. I will never change this for anything. It's the only things that I'm good at it, and I do this because I want to help people. I mean, you know me a bit because we had a chat a couple of, I think last year, maybe 2 years ago.
Oh,
You
yeah,
remember?
we did.
So
That
you
helps
know me
a
that
lot, by the way.
so I do this because I want to help people.
Yeah.
That's my mission, and that's what I want to do, and that's why I do doing my job. And I don't care about others. And it's my life. I've got just one, so why I should care about others?
No, I think what
Yeah,
to do is like we need more of it, definitely. That, like I said, like some people are from like a more old school background, they don't want to do
yeah,
this, they don't want to share, and
yeah,
it's only with this, like this the coronavirus stuff, where we're all in lockdown,
yeah,
where the
yeah,
people who are willing to share have kind of come forward a bit more and gone, hey, you know
yeah,
what, I really miss work, should we have a chat?
yeah,
And
yeah.
we need more of that, definitely.
And I'm sharing a lot thoughts on YouTube and stuff. I had the channel before, but now I'm doing more because I'm home, so I've got time.
Yeah.
And yesterday I post something on Hallenit Facebook group,
Mm.
and someone just accused me to be a liberal because I am sharing free stuff for people.
Okay.
So so
Are they all right?
just to show you that there is still, as you said, kind of like old generation that they really think that nowadays uh people need to pay for everything. You can get any info for free or no one can help you. But
Mm.
unfortunately they live, I think, in 90 or 80 maybe, but nowadays on YouTube you can find anything. And my
Well,
answer, my answer was, I'm gonna help all my fellow friends, especially in this time of all of this happening.
mhm.
If I can, I'm doing, and I don't care about what you think. You can think whatever you want, just don't look my stuff. It's quite easy.
Wow.
So
Well, that's a very well structured comeback.
yeah,
That's the thing though, like some of the online stuff I found
yeah,
before coronavirus or anything was happening, there were groups on Facebook and stuff,
yeah.
loads and loads of forums, and I ended up leaving a bunch because it was literally just everyone's opinions about nothing.
That's
And
correct.
and
Yep,
tearing other people down
yep.
and really like getting their claws in, and you'd have like incredible people out there sharing pictures of their rigs and stuff, and all they could say was, oh my god, why do you need so much effort? And it's like, dude, this is like this amazing engineer who's gone, hey, you know what, here's my stuff, isn't it cool, do you want me to go through it all? And someone's been, well, you've got a can of drink on there, and it's like, dude, come on, do you want to learn, or do you just want to like sit with your internet keyboard warriors and bitch about
Yeah,
it? Like, it's
yeah,
silly. So yeah,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry that guy
yeah,
said that.
yeah.
That's not cool. But
Anyway, it's
yeah.
okay. So, what there is any advice that you can give to new people that are listening that want to start to work in this business, especially female at this point, because I
Oh.
want more female to work in the business.
Advice, I would say take your time. It doesn't happen overnight, and you have to be patient with it. Like I wasn't. I'm so impatient. It's ridiculous. I would fight hard to get ahead at every single point I could. I went and did all my training courses. I paid for all of them, and I'm like, why is nothing happening? And it's like, it's all very well having, you know, X qualification, blah, but you kind of need the real world experience to go with it too. So you can't rush these things. I've seen a lot of people coming out of different qualifications and training schools and stuff going, right, when do I go and meet Beyonce? And it's like, you don't, dude, you don't. Congrats on the qualification. You know, that's a great thing to have because it shows that you can stick with a course or you can apply yourself to education. That's wonderful. And down the line, if you're looking at getting a visa or whatever, you're going to be in a really solid position. But you still have to go and start from the bottom. You still have to go and literally paint boxes. You're still going to have to clean cables after they come out the ground at a festival, like for years. And I remember loads of people saying to me, oh, yeah, it's going to take you like 10 years to get out of this. And I'm like, no, it's not. No. And it didn't. But that's not the point. The point is, you still have to be patient. And not everyone's the same either. There isn't a timeline for making it, as it were. There isn't a timeline for being successful in the way that you want. It's just it's very fluid. There is no structure to it. So I would say be patient and also learn everywhere. You're never too old to learn. One of my favorite sayings from, you know, some wicked engineers I've learned with in the past is every day's a school day, because it is. Like, you will learn something new every day, and you shouldn't close yourself off from that either. Like, you have to be prepared to learn stuff and also be prepared to make mistakes and admit that you're wrong. That's not a weakness, that's a strength. I think if you make a mistake, you go, my bad. You know, that's I don't know about advice primarily for females. I would say have a thick skin, but then that applies to guys too. I don't know. Just don't get, okay, here's a good one, I suppose. Don't get caught up in having a chip on your shoulder about being a woman in the industry.
Amazing. That's amazing. I agree 100%.
It's not a weakness. You're just a person, and anybody who's worth their salt in this industry, anyone who's worth anything, will not care what gender you are or who you identify as. They won't care as long as you can do your job and you're a nice human being. That's it. So don't get hung up on it.
I agree.
Yeah.
What's your unique skill that allow you to work in this business?
Oh, I don't know. Wow, that's a really good question. I think I've learned it as I've gone through. I didn't start with it, but I guess just the ability to kind of not let stuff faze me anymore.
Nice.
I'm not gonna lie, I used to be bothered by everything all the time, and like you know, super like not emotional, but you know, just sporadically like, oh my god, I'm worried about this now, I'm worried about that now. And it's like, you know, at the end of the day, without sounding like an idiot, nothing is actually gonna go that wrong. Correct. You know, the worst that can happen is something is a bit squeaky, or the speakers don't make any noise or something. But to be honest with you, you're not killing people. You're not, you know, severely impairing anybody. You're just doing your job, and sometimes things go wrong. And worrying about it is you know, a sign that you care. But being like highly strung about stuff all the time isn't going to help you. It's just going to make you stressed out. So I guess now I'm a lot more chilled out, and I'm just fairly happy most of the time.
Good.
I like my job. I love my job. I love who I work with. And if I came into work miserable, our gigs would be really rubbish, because it brings everybody else down, and that's not kind of the vibe we're going for. So I think just remaining positive and not freaking out.
So
seems to be
no, that's fine. Yeah. Do you think that this kind of skill that you just say is something that everyone should have when they start to work in this business? Okay.
I don't think that's. I don't even know if that's possible. I think there are certain types of people who are definitely more chilled out, like personality-wise, which is lovely. But I don't. I think if you really, really give a crap about your job, if you really love your job and you're really passionate about it, you're always going to freak out a little bit, because you know, it's a reflection of you. It's your work. It's what you do. It's your it's your badge of honor, as it were. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to, you know, be the best that you can be, but you also have to consider the fact that you're not the only person on that gig. give other people
Cool.
to work with too. So if you're winding yourself up and making yourself angry, you're kind of that's going to affect other people. So
Yeah.
I
always say, when I get out of my door to go to the job to work, all my problem that I have, my personal problems, stay home. And when I go to work, it's just problem for work. That's it.
Yeah.
And I had quite difficult episode last year because unfortunately I lost my grandma, my niece, and my dog.
Oh my god!
Literally in 5 months.
Oh. Wow.
And every time that something like that happened, I was about to go to work. My mom was sending me a message and said, "Look, this is happened." I said, "Okay." So especially in that kind of situation, I went to work, but I didn't say nothing to anyone. I was always smile and always like happy, as I always am, and make sure everyone is okay. But inside myself, I say, look, you need to stop to think, and you need to just think about to work, and that's it. And that's how you deal with it. I mean, for myself, as I always say, it's been a challenge in all my years because I lost my dad when I was quite young. So I've been fighting with a lot lost in my life. So I know how to deal with it nowadays. But I understand that there is a lot of people that when something happened, they can take that stuff from their mind and the work they take this stuff with them. So I always say, if you find someone on your team, talk with someone. It's not, you don't need to be ashamed to say, oh, you know what, I feel a bit down, I'm a bit depressed. And you know what, I am literally every time that I see any friends on Instagram now, especially in this time, that they write any post that is a bit, you understand that they're a bit down, or they share some picture of any tour, and say, I always reply back and say, look, man, if you need anything, I'm here, send me a message, we can have a chat. And because sometimes people need someone that tell them, look, I'm here to help you, and if you need anything, just give me a call, send me a message. Because sometimes just a message, say, hello, how are you good, are you feeling good? That one just can change your day.
And exactly what you did for me. I was having a terrible time after I'd kind of not been asked back to a gig, and I was freaking out and like, why am I doing this, you know, what's the point of my career, it's all gonna end, blah blah blah. And we went out for coffee and you're just like, it happens. And you know, the fact that someone was willing to meet at the time somebody who was basically a stranger and take them out for coffee and just have a nice chat about it was like one of the best things ever. And I don't think I'll ever forget that, because it was honestly so needed and so much appreciated. So thank you.
No worries.
But,
look,
go ahead. I was just saying, like, I think, like I was saying earlier on, we should, that needs to be present as well, because lots of people do go through an awful lot of stuff in their lives, especially when they're trying to do a really high pressure job like we do. And it doesn't matter if you're doing conferences or rock and roll or sports or whatever you're doing, like that is a high pressure environment. You got to get stuff right in one go. And that if you're stressed out anyway with added stress, it can really damage you, like, mentally. And it's really important that however you deal with whatever's going on in your life, that you have other people around you who understand. So like you said, like a little message just saying, how are you, shall we chat, is perfect. So
so what do you think is the common reason that a lot of people give up on this job?
I think probably relationships and family.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I think. I mean, I'm really lucky because my boyfriend is also an audio engineer, and
he's an amazing audio engineer. Yes,
he's all right. He's been doing this a really long time, much longer than I have, and we are used to it. It's our lifestyle. We're finding this weird now, being in a house together. We're like, what? Who are you? Why are you in my house? It's like, this is the longest time we've probably ever spent together, solely together. But for other people who have a partner who may not understand the ins and outs of the industry that we work in, I can imagine that's really difficult. I can see that would put people off. And also maybe having children with them too, like, I don't know how people do that. That's really tough. Like, so all credit to those people who can make it work. That's quite amazing. So I think maybe that, or sometimes people, I feel like maybe they fall behind because they're used to a different way of doing things and they kind of don't want to roll with the times, as it were. Like the industry's changed massively in the past 5 years, let alone
Oh yeah.
10. And trying to keep up with it can be exhausting if you're used to like one thing. I mean, I remember when I was at university, I had a lecturer who was awesome and taught me all about live sound, and it was absolutely brilliant. And then one day, like after I graduated and started working as a sound engineer, we met up for lunch, and he's like, "Right, digital consoles, eh?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man." it was funny, like trying to like literally cross over from him teaching me to me not teaching him, but kind of just telling him about, you know, this, that, and the other. And yeah, if people aren't really willing to do stuff like that, it can be really difficult to accept that stuff's moved on.
So, did your parents say anything about the job that you do? They were happy, or they support you, or did you find?
Oh no, they were super supportive, definitely.
Cool, nice. Nice.
My dad is an electrician by trade, and he's got his own like sound systems anyway. So he was like, "Oh my god, the speakers! What's this got?" I'm like, "All right." But yeah, no, they've always been super supportive. I've only recently had them at a gig. I've never actually.
Oh, nice. Okay.
As it was really fun. It was when I was doing James Morrison, and they came down and said hello and hung out, and they sat at the front, and it was lovely. It was really cool, like to be able to show them what I actually do. It was like super cool. So yeah.
Nice. I want to go more on technical side now, because I saw last video on Instagram. I think that was about 𝐦𝐨𝐬𝐞.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Yeah. I'm gonna put the link in the description of the video and everything, so people can check out. Can you just tell me which is your? I mean, I don't want to see your desk that you like. I mean, which desk are you more comfortable to work with?
My current one is my SD1296.
Okay.
My favorite.
Okay.
I really like it.
Right. Did you try any Alanit? I just always ask just for.
I have.
Okay.
I have. I couldn't tell you which one though, because it was a very long time ago. So
That's fine. That's
used
fine.
Any of the later ones.
Okay.
I've kind of, in any tech roles I've had recently, it's either been a Yamaha or a digiko.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I am a big Alanit fan.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've got a small SQ5, but yeah. About PA system. Which, I mean, you work a lot with 𝐦𝐤𝐤𝐞, if I remember right. Is that correct?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that for you is the way to go, right? Most of the time.
Well, actually, in the past couple of years, I've been doing a lot of work with Scan. And last year, when I was doing their Take That tour, we were using
they've got DMB, isn't
it? Yeah, and it was mega, absolutely brilliant. So we did something for MTV in Bilbao a few years ago when we had the GSL, and we've been touring. We were touring KSL with Take That, and they're decent. Yeah, for sure. I like them. I'm not sure who I favourite at the moment, because I love the way that the GSL and the KSL fly. The tension and compression mode, I think, is absolutely brilliant. It's so easy to do. But then also, when I work with Scan, the way that they package their stuff is super intuitive as well. And you literally plug a motor on it and send it up, and it's so good. Whereas I don't know how easily you'd be able to do that with some of the bigger acoustics rigs.
Especially for the K2, I guess. I mean,
yeah. But I mean, it's like anything. The more you use it, the easier it gets.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
I actually haven't seen a shootout between like K1 and G or K2 and K yet, which would be interesting. I'd like to see that. But yeah, I know that MC in Bilbao made Muse sound like a record in an empty stadium on GSL, and it was incredible. And
wow! Okay.
Oh my god, honestly. And then we had the KSL for stadiums and Take That with Gary Bradshaw at front of house, and that was cool as well. So again, I don't know, it sounds amazing, but or failing that, bring back VDOS, because it's so good.
Oh yeah, I would love to that, but it's so heavy, heavy.
It's a proper beast, and it's horrible to fly.
Oh God, yeah.
Things, but it sounds so.
Yeah. It's been I think that's been one of my big PA back in Italy when I started to work as a PMN, because my first job was a PMN, and I think that was a VDOS. Yeah, I think it was a VDOS. And Yeah, it's so heavy, it's so bloody difficult to read it because there is a lot bloody things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember actually I don't remember what was last time that I put up a PA, like a big PA. I don't remember. I'm not doing any more job as a PMN because I'm just doing more corporate nowadays. So with all of this happening in your life, because as you know, our job take quite a lot time. Did you learn anything that you keep saying to yourself, thanks that I learned this in all these years?
Um. Oh.
I know that it's
Oh
quite difficult, but
no, I think
yeah,
early on,
yeah.
actually, when I was still at uni, and I will never forget this. My lecturer Andy teaching us about singing drummers
Uh-huh.
and miking them appropriately and mixing them
Nice.
appropriately because it happens and it's really really hard. So that was a fun little lesson.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever forget that. That was absolutely brilliant. And over time, I have encountered many singing drummers.
Nice. Okay.
So that's always been fun. Um, Ooh, I think from the companies that I've worked for,
Mm-hmm.
they have very, very high standards.
Okay.
They are the top of their game kind of thing. And
Yeah.
following that on and having pride in like your stage work, actually,
Okay.
I think is really important because sometimes you don't get the chance, like sometimes you don't have time, but when you do have time, it doesn't really take an awful lot longer. It doesn't take much out of your day to make sure that your cables are neat and stuff like that. I know that sounds really silly and like really anal, but I'm glad I learnt that firsthand rather than
Mm.
tripping up later on because I hadn't done a good job. um I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong if it looks messy, like god, some
No. Yeah.
really messy, but like to be able to be that one person who knows exactly how long all of the XLR drops in your drum loom are, and good cable craft is really important.
It
um
is indeed. Yeah.
Literally learning how to coil a cable so that you can have your singer run off the end of the stage 50 meters away, and stuff like that. If they're on a wired mic and they're running far away, that cable needs to not knot up when they run away. And yeah, I'm glad there was a couple of instances where I had that when I was working
Okay.
with Deftones, and Chino would like take his wired mic and just run across the stage, and I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I did that in a figure eight. And then
Oh
he
my
goes
god.
back into it, really go back in and coil it up again like super fast. Like, I'm glad I learned that because that would have
Yeah.
been horrible had I not.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about work, like,
Mhm.
what is your focus at the moment? It's
Oh,
just, yeah.
I think like connecting with people is a really
Hmm.
it's useful, and like the relationships that you build are really useful as
Important.
well. The stuff I've been doing with 𝐦𝐨𝐬𝐞 has been wicked. Like, I managed to get hold of a console, and they were like, "Oh, you've got one? Can you do some videos?" And I'm like, "Yeah, cool." So that'll be really fun. So it has been really cool because going through stuff, I think I learn better when I teach. So
Yeah.
if I go
Okay.
through
Yeah.
it with an audience, as it were, I find it kind of sticks in my head a little bit more.
Mm.
So that's been cool. As in, like now where we're kind of on lockdown, it's kind of rubbish because again, learning by doing, I can't do anything. I can
Yeah.
make some multi-tracks down, that's really fun, but again, I'm in a really unique position because I was lucky in that I managed to get my hands on a console, which is great. But lots of other people don't, which is, and some people have
Yeah.
home studio setups and stuff, which is wicked, but I'm aware that a lot of people don't. So yeah, just trying to keep in contact with people and trying to keep my skill
Cool.
set current is kind of,
Cool.
yeah.
Nice. My last question, and this is the one that everyone hates, but anyway, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Oh, okay. Wow. um, I want to get better at mixing.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I started out going, I never want to mix. Like when I went through, I was like, I'm only going to do PA. That's it. I'm
Yeah.
never touching a console. But I kind of learned that in order to be better at doing PA, I need to tour PA, and sometimes you can't always get on a tour, or sometimes you do get on a tour and you're like fifth man on the tour, and you can only learn so much being that person. And I was super lucky when I did take that because my crew chief Toby was just like, just go and do it. Yeah, fine. It's a stadium PA. I don't care. Hang all of that. hang the whole side, do like all the trusses, just I don't care, just do it. And it was wicked because I had to just do it. But I'm never, not everybody's afforded opportunities like that, so I had to kind of balance my skill set a little bit in order to be able to keep being employed as a tech. So when I went over to do teching for monitor teching, I've been doing a lot of, I was like, you know what, it's really cool that I know everything about this stage and this setup. I literally knew everything except what the faders were doing, and that was the next part. So following that on would be great. I'd love to improve the way I mix as well. I think that would be really important. I think I'd like to build like my own rig at some point, but
nice.
That's wishful thinking. So I think just improving mixing for now.
Okay, cool.
That would be cool.
Perfect. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I hope that I will see you soon.
I hope so.
And in a good big arena or maybe big stadium, that would be amazing. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you once again for listening, guys. Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube to listen more episodes. And remember, be positive. Life is one.